Okay. Who's next on your list?
Man, another guy that I'm just like, why are we jumping the gun here a little bit? I'm going to the same draft class, Metcalf. He was picked 2 picks later. Ausar Thompson, not that Thompson, the other one.
Yeah, I think men may have already made that leap.
Yeah,
I
Ahmed
think
took
there's
the
another
leap.
one there, but I'm excited for Asar's this year.
I think his is this year. Now, I thought he's been a little buzz killed by some injury bugs.
Yeah.
Which I think is always such important timing for like reps and stuff earlier on in your career. So I think Asar is going to have a very big year because I think we're going to start to see that jump happen. When he was drafted, when I evaluated him as a prospect, I thought he was just going to be a guy that might take a couple of years before all of a sudden you're like, whoa, here we go. I feel like we could see the amend jump from last year happen for Asar this year. If he's, obviously if you're healthy and
Right.
everything goes good, but I just feel like it's looming. It's like you're wait and see.
Yeah, and like all last year, we talked a ton about us and just the entire basketball world talked a ton about how the new structure and actual team building that was going on in Detroit in terms of providing some actual shooters and floor spacing, how crucial that was to Cade. It's also crucial to Asar because
Yeah.
he's a non-shooter. I never expect him to shoot, which I think is okay because he's already showing so many different ways that he can contribute to winning basketball. The key though is that you can't have four of him out on the court like they kind of tried to do, or we're constructing a team to do. But when he's the only non-shooter, or the one of two guys who aren't spacing the floor, that's enough because he's so active, he's so athletic, he's so intelligent, and just all the dirty work plays, like doing the little things. And he's so freaking good at it. Like when we look at his defensive and rebounding numbers, block rate of 1.5, which ranked in the 96th percentile for wings. Steal rate jumped from 1.9 to 3.1 last year, 98th percentile for wings. Offensive field goal or offensive rebounding on field goals, 8.4%, 97th percentile. Defensive rebounding rate, 13.7 in the 88th percentile. Like the dude gets after it and does the little stuff, but then having him crash the glass like that on both ends of the floor also allows you to, on the offensive end, obviously generate extra possessions, but then on defensively initiate that break and get your young athletes out in space, including him, just so you can go get easy stuff and not have to worry about trying to hunt, a contested three late in the shot clock.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at a stat right now. This is incredible. So his best month of the year was February. He almost averaged 12. He almost averaged 13, 5, and 4. How many 3-pointers do you think he attempted in 12 games?
2.
0.
Yeah.
That's incredible. But I hate box score chasing, but you could see the story of the injury impact
Yeah.
from the splits
Yeah.
throughout the year. Like everything went up as the year goes on. He started the year 5, 2, and 3, 8, 6, and 1, 8, 5, and 1. Then all of a sudden, almost 13, 5, and 4. Have a down month of 10, 5, and 2, and then all of a sudden 12, almost 7 and 3. So the shot, I've never thought Asar was going to be a good shooter. I thought he was going to be this type of hopeful Andre Iguodala piece that just really can unlock some stuff. But I think he has all defense upside. I've said that since the prospect, since I saw him in person. I was like, this kid has just instincts defensively. He could be really special. So I think this is the year where he's going to unlock something with his game. I don't know if it's going to be like, man, things slowed down defensively for Asar, or if it's just going to be he's more productive, more consistent. But yeah, I think it's a big year for the Pistons, obviously, after last year. And I think Asar's hopefully going to be giving him a big boost that they didn't have to start out last year.
Yeah, and I feel like, and obviously the defense is his calling card. It's
Yeah.
his thing. But with each year, as the game slows down mentally for him, and with that frame, with that athleticism, it's going to be terrifying. Like he's already a menace on that end of the floor, but with another year of experience with another year, the first year of being in consecutive systems with the same coaching staff, there's some like insanely scary, like potential first team all defensive potential with him, with how chaotic he can create stuff. But that extra year of experience and slowing the game down mentally, it's like controlled chaos. It's not just go cause havoc. It's all right, actually disrupt everything that the offense is trying to do because you're one step ahead and know, and you can already anticipate it because you've been through it already. That's where it gets really fun on the defensive end. Offensively, I'm intrigued to see what the leap is because I don't think it's going to be the shooting, but I've always liked his passing, not as
Mhm.
like a primary guy, but connecting because he's so active, and since he's a non-shooter, defenders forget about him a lot on those backdoor cuts or offensive rebounds when he crashes the glass or just that constant movement. And if they incorporate him a little bit as a rim runner, I think that would be kind of fun. If there's some more like back cut into touch passes and to shooters or rollers, some potential DHO stuff where he's the initiator and kind of the pseudo screener there with, and we saw how deadly Duncan Robinson and Bam Adebayo were like with those kind of actions in Miami. If they can recreate some of that, I think it'd be really fun. I'm just really fascinated to see what he looks like offensively.
Yeah, that's the $1,000,000 question for me is where does the leap come offensively? Because I think you're spot on. Like I've always liked his passing a lot. I thought it was one of those like slept on. Like Amen was the flashier passer as a prospect. I
Yeah.
thought Asar was like I'd love to play with Ausar Thompson because he's one of those like gets a defensive rebound and you're running the floor, he finds you with the ball, like the ball finds you. Um, Asar seems like he's the perfect pickup teammate because he could cut back door, get you easy buckets, make you look good, or he's going to get you the ball offensively and find you if you're open. I don't know. Like in my head, I'm like, well, do you try to get him running some actions because but I don't know if the handle's good enough there because like he is a talented passer. He has
Yeah.
good feel, but I like him off the ball. Maybe you try to get him to the line more, but shooting jokes will come. Defensively, he's the Terminator. He is a computer processing monster. Like, and it's scary if that takes another leap because that's where he's comfortable. People come down on offense and they're just like, all right, let's go to work. When you come back on defense, the star's like, let's go to work. That's his bread and butter. So, yeah, Metcalf, I don't know. Offensively, it's going to be really fascinating to see where that Detroit coaching staff wants to kind of add a wrinkle with the SARS game or what he's been working on. But they have a lot of guys there you want to have the ball in their hands. They also have a lot of guys there that you probably don't want to have the ball in their hands just because that's not their, repertoire. If you want to put it that way. I'm gonna use that word for a while. But what would you want the most?
Probably an increase in the passing and just
Yeah.
well,
It's tough because I don't know if I want him running the offense because unless Cade's out.
but then you have like Karis LeVert who can do some of that. You have Tobias Harris who can do a little bit of that. I would rather have the ball in their hands, not like as point guards, but I would rather have them initiating. And then Marcus Sasser, I still really like.
Believe.
I honestly, it might just be improving as an at rim finisher off of his cuts and in transition because he ranked in the 92nd percentile in transition frequency last year, but just the 31st percentile in scoring, and then on cuts the 84th percentile in frequency, but just the 48th percentile in scoring. So being a little upping the efficiency in those, because based on last year with Cade and him proving it's like, nah, he's the dude. I have to imagine the defensive attention is only going to increase with him, and he's only going to draw more eyes. And then you have another, veteran dynamic wing creator and scorer in Karis LeVert joining the team as well. I think there are going to be a lot of opportunities for him to be super active off ball and cutting back door. And if you can, I think, incorporate him as a potential screener in a lot of those situations as well, where he's not just standing in the corner having to crash and create his own out of broken plays or stuff like that, but then incorporating him a little more directly in the action, but not as the ball handler. I think there's some upside with that because it wouldn't shock me if, defenders of similar size try and blitz Cade out of a Cade Asar pick and roll, and now Asar's slipping down the middle of the lane unoccupied. And anytime you get him going downhill with a lane, fun things tend to happen. So
Maybe we need to. I'm looking at Ausar's offensive and defensive percentiles, and I know how you feel about the defensive ones, but
it's bad.
maybe we just need to give him the nickname Two Face because they're just complete opposites. Like one's outstanding and one's just like, look, I'll close out the window. If I'm a Star fan, I don't need to look at it. But that's how special of a talent he is. I think you just have to find something he can consistently be an impactful piece on the offensive side. Then that takes his game to another stratosphere. You just got to find his what can he make what can have like his groove offensively. Because it's obviously how good he is defensively, but you don't want him to have him out there and be like, man, he's hurting us on that side of the ball,
Right?
Because he's not hurting you on the other side.
Yeah, and if there's no offensive growth from him, then it just makes the conundrum of playing him and Ron Holland together even more impossible.
Yeah, right.
Unless obviously Ron in turn has some major offensive leap, which he could
if he shoots it like he did at Summer League.
Yeah, Jesus.
Jeez. Yeah, Ron.
Hopefully that'd be fun, because if you get both of them on the floor at the same time, and you have at least one of them as a reliable spot up shooter, that defense is going to be insane.
Yeah. And shout out to Ron. I mean, your Pistons fans should be pumped. You're hoping you get potentially two very valuable assets to take a step forward this year in your rotation with Ausar and Ron Holland. But I think Ausar is I think that step could be gigantic.